Andrea Lalama is a mother who became a certified homeopath, analyst, and independent researcher to help her own children. One formerly diagnosed with autism, now recovered, attending a regular school setting. And if you get on it early, folks, it's a cocktail. We'll talk to her about it, but I've had scientists, medical doctors on. Of the pesticides, the GMO, the vaccines push it over the edge, especially in boys, because they say it's genetic. Well, yeah, it's genetic. Boys can't handle as much adjuvant and mercury. They don't have as strong a blood-brain barrier as women. And any medical doctor will tell you women are at least in their physiology, are tougher than men. So women live longer. They can survive more bullet wounds, you name it. She created the website Holistic Approach for Autism.com to offer her professional services as a homeopath holistic consultant. Her expertise is autism. She also founded the Reversing Autism Foundation and the parents group Reversing Autism to help parents all over the world. And her Facebook is also linked up on the site. And now they've suspended or blocked people who posted the Monsanto March. Hundreds of these came in. Mike Adams wrote a story that was on Drudge over the weekend dealing with that. We're going to put that on screen here in a moment and show the photo that was censored. And then later we'll get into what happened to your child and how you're able to reverse it by the grace of God. But what a cute photo. There it is that they gave you a notice of and blocked. Organic food, it's my medicine. Biopesticides equals autism. Say no to GMOs. I mean, that's evil. I mean, you think this is a free country that you're going to post? You march in Houston, you're going to put that on your Facebook? How dare you, Mrs. Evil?
Oh, hi.
You want to apologize to Facebook? Because Bill O'Reilly says this is good that you were censored.
Hey, no. Hell no. I'm very upset that they block my children's pictures. They were protesting. Is their right? I believe in teaching the children by example, no by just telling them.
How do we know they're not with Al-Qaeda?
Oh, please.
Being sarcastic. No, I mean, this shows how screwed up this country is. So tell folks what happened.
I just explained my children what happened to them. They were diagnosed with autism. Now they are fine, and they perfectly understand anything you can explain to them. So I told them, I said, you guys were hurt by this biopesticide, by this food being contaminated, by these vaccines that has a lot of poison in it. And now that you guys are better, you got to fight for your food, because for my kids, truly, organic food is medicine. Autistic kids, if they don't eat organic food, they don't make it.
Explain what biopesticides are.
Well, the difference between chemical pesticides, it's that those were like extracts from plants or the other microbes, but it was like the byproduct of the production of plants.
Sure, BP corn and stuff grows about 1,000 times stronger poison fungus than is actually in it, just as one example. And of course, it kills the bugs, but we're supposed to eat it.
Well, the biopesticides is basically a genetic pollution. So is 100 times more dangerous than just chemicals. Because with chemicals, your body can somehow methylate them, process them, and you can excrete them at to one point. But when you change with these biopesticides, the danger is that they are making epigenetic changes.
That's right. Well, there's been studies that show it's actually getting into the...
the genetic studies. I attend every single...
But I mean, if the BP kills the honeybees, why isn't it good for your children?
Exactly. Actually, the bees give me the answer, because it was amazing. God works in mysterious ways. I have to say.
Don't the bees deserve to die too? They might be with Al-Qaeda.
Definitely, they have to be, because this is ridiculous. I mean, everybody's with Al-Qaeda. Only the government and Monsanto are right. Everybody else is wrong.
That's right.
Everybody else is wrong.
Bill O'Reilly wants her on.
Okay. We have over 2.5 million children with autism. That means 2.5 million families out there that are saying, please stop putting poison in our food. Please stop poisoning our children. And we are the cuckoos.
You are bad.
We are the bad ones.
Good.
And everybody else is okay, is correct. And we are the
You want to
ones.
thank Mark Zuckerberg for taking your photos down?
Actually, yes. Thank you very much, Zuckerberg, because I'm here with Alex Jones, somebody that I've been admiring for the past 10 years of my life, for saying the truth. So thank you, Facebook, for blocking my children's pictures. You guys know They bully the wrong mama. They have no idea.
You're not just going to roll over and let them hurt other kids? How mean of you.
Oh, yeah. They think they can just run over all of us, all the mothers. I mean, every time we try to protest about our children's health, we go to Washington with signs and we protest against the vaccines.
But Monsanto's got the money to put all their lawyers in as the regulators.
Yes, and that's the
Who will win, the mothers or the Monsanto eugenicists? We'll be back with our guest straight ahead with Zuckerberg's Facebook censorship. ProPure is introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. This is the Pro One by ProPure. You wanted it, you got it. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It cuts out the acid derivative of fluoride. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gates, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. This is a revolution against the tyrants. They love putting the toxic acid base of fluoride into your water. They love the fact that it's an adjuvant supercharging the trace Prozac in the water and the hormones and the other chemicals. By cutting out fluoride, you cut out the turbocharger in all the poison being artificially introduced into your body. This is what I use. It's a win-win. You get a high-quality product at the lowest price. You support the InfoWar. Get your ProPure with the new Pro One filters today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139. Andrea Lalama is here with us. I want to hear about Facebook censoring you. Of course, you have the screenshots of it. We got hundreds of emails, people showing how it happened to them. It's happened to us where they've suspended our account. They've terminated other people's accounts when we sent out a Thomas Jefferson meme that if it gets picked up and as big, it was a quote about, how guns restrain evil everywhere. And they just, oh, you can't have that. That makes too much sense. They want to use social networks at Bilderberg and everything to control us. They don't want us using it the other way around. But as Facebook censors, more and more people are leaving it. But, I want to get into how you were able to reverse this in your child and the info you learned, because I've seen a lot of success, people detoxing, getting on organic food. It's an autoimmune response in the gut. There's a cocktail of things with the spectrum disorders, obviously, and you're more of an expert on it than I am because you've lived it. I noticed the accounts they suspended were particularly of the march. They did not want people unified as humans together. They want us, in our free speech zones or at home dying from cancer. So break down how they censored you and what's happened since then.
When I came back home from the march, I was very excited. I wanted to share this in my private page and in my public page. I have 2 Facebook pages. And the public page, when I posted there, I also shared with Natural News Facebook, and the moment I did that, Natural News liked the picture and they reposted. The moment they did that, I was blocked. Oh,
that's good. Evil-free association.
Right.
I mean, you were sharing photos of a march. That's evil, yeah.
Well, they didn't. They knew that Natural News has a bigger network, I guess.
Thank God they were watching you. Thank God they were watching you.
They didn't care much when I put it on mine, but they care a lot when I start sharing with.
No, they have built-in metrics when something's going viral. That's when they slap it down.
Yeah, so they blocked me, and I got really upset, but I wanted to have evidence of what was happening because it was so unfair that I recommend this to do all the people on Facebook. If Facebook starts sending you these weird messages that you are blocked for no reason,
Oh, they told Darren McBreen he couldn't use his for, well, I think it was 3 weeks because he said something mildly political. And they said, the way for you to get friends is not be political. And again, people say, well, it's their own site. Let them do it. No, they advertise like it's free and open for free speech.
They don't want us to speak
it's
about
false
anything.
advertising. Facebook is a giant criminal operation. People ask, why are we on Facebook? Those are all fan pages people created. We're there to use their enemy operation against them.
Exactly. I mean, the same thing, people wrote me and says, oh, just quit Facebook. Facebook is not public. I'm like, no, I want to use these against themselves.
Well, they buy up, Google has bought 3 ad companies we've used. And people say, well, don't use Google. They buy everything we use.
Exactly. And at this moment, we don't have really good...
You made Facebook. It's supposed to be your info. Exactly. You're sharing it. And then they go, we're going to tell you what you can put. And at first it's like porn, killing, blah, blah, blah. No, actually, sites saying kill Tea Partiers or stuff like that, that's okay. You're just not allowed to say, hey, Zuckerberg calls us dumb effers.
But what really upset me, Alex, is that they are making claims that is completely false. They sent me this message saying that my pictures were abusive. That's sickening. I mean,
they always turn it around. You're abusive, showing your children at a march with signs. Let's put the thought crime on screen.
This is what is wrong. I mean,
you're bad. No, I agree. You're bad.
Yeah, I'm bad. Is abusing. There he goes. And so what I did is I did a screenshot, and this is what I recommend people to do. Make a screenshot because it's the only way you can prove.
Show the shot of her kids again, folks. Show them the evil. Just imagine the abuse of that.
Yeah, it's insane.
Your children at a political march.
Abusive.
I mean, they should be at home watching video games, eating GMO.
Yeah. And,
you want to apologize to Mark Zuckerberg for your... You need a state minder.
Actually, all these, the more they fight us back, the more we are going to resist. And the more we resist, the better world we can have. I mean, I encourage the mothers to always continue to fight for their children, do what is right. And if Facebook is stopping us from letting the world know that our kids has been hurt by these pesticides and companies that are producing these poisons, they have to fight. They have.
We're going to get into that, but have they reinstated your page?
Actually, this is amazing. After 24 hours of you guys picking up my story, I think they were. Sorry, my French. They were pooping their pants. In case some kids. They were
Janet Napolitanoing their pants.
They immediately turned me back on, and I start posting in another.
We call that a Queen Elizabeth II, but they were Queen Elizabeth II. Now expanding on that. Well, don't just think Mike Adams at naturalnews.com or Infowars.com. The mighty drudgereport.com picked it up.
Yes, I hear that.
Isn't that good that he stands up for free speech?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, let me tell you.
He's kind of evil, too.
Listen to you, Alex, and Mike, and read the Drudge Report. For me, is to be in an oasis. I mean, oasis. It's so hard to find people here that can think.
Oh, evil oasis, yeah.
I feel like I'm surrounded by zombies. It's horrible.
You do seem like you're pretty alive.
I am. I
like that.
If you cut my arm, I got blood in my veins.
Yeah.
I bleed. But people here...
Are you seething with life?
Yeah. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating, Alex. I've talked to parents and I try to make them aware of this, and they don't understand how important the food is. They have no...
Their children are being assaulted. I've got Eco-Science written by the White House Science Czar, and I've got Memorandum 200 by Kissinger. This is a plan. They brag. They're doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, because, we joke around, but you woke up, you said no. Tell us about your 2 children. We'll put them back up on screen. You don't have to say their names if you don't want to, but tell us.
Yeah,
tell us. Was it your older boy that had the autism that you were able to reverse?
Actually, yes. My older son was diagnosed with very profound autism, but my second son, by the time I took him for the evaluation, he was borderline because I already started treatments on him. So
how did you figure out it was the bioweapon in the food and other things?
Because God's speed. It was God all the way. I have never even heard the word autism before my kids were struck with it, and things. I prayed really, really hard, and I said, "Dear Lord, show me the way. I don't need a miracle. I know it's going to be hard. I'm going to learn. It's going to be tough. I'm willing to take it. Please forgive me for mistakes I have done. Help me, show me the way. I can repair this. Just show me the way. And he did. And as soon as my son got diagnosed, I met this amazing mother. Her name is Dana Gorman. Thank you, Dana. I will forever be thankful to you if you're listening.
Did she tell you it was the GMO in the shots?
No, she basically took me to the right people, and those people made me understand that my kids had a tremendous impairment detoxifying. And when you look that, if you Google that, if you really do a good job finding that out, what can cause that? You will find out that our biopesticides and mostly chemicals will damage.
Yeah, not only are the plants are designed to be able to have toxins sprayed on them and live, so that bioaccumulates, but then the big deal is a lot of them have their own natural pharmacological crop growing their own toxins, so bugs can't eat it.
Exactly.
But then it's supposedly safe for us.
Well, what happened also is, thanks God, I have the ability to travel to, as you know.
Yeah, other countries aren't having this autism.
Exactly. So that's how I figured
America's cursed.
That's how I figured out. People, you need to know this. I mean, if you go to Costa Rica, people doesn't even know what
they don't have the breast cancer at 3,000% up. They don't have the autism.
10,000 autistic.
Yeah, no.
Not like
they don't have the plagues because they don't have Bill Gates.
They don't have Monsanto.
But Bill Gates is knocking on the door. He's on their board. He's coming though.
Yeah.
He wants in. He wants to help you.
The difference is that over there, people are educated. They are fighting back, even when the government.
No. They're extremist and bad. They don't love Bill Gates.
They are truly fighting back. I mean,
why don't they trust Bill Gates? He loves them.
It's because they have.
Don't they want to die like Don't they want to be like us?
Education makes a big difference.
Don't they want to die like us?
No, they don't. They don't. They actually it's pretty pathetic because we've been there in that country with my husband, and sometimes we've said people, come on with us to America, and they said, what for? I mean, because when you have an educated population and they are content, they are happy, they don't need to be ultra mega billionaires. When you have a couple of millions, you can be happy.
Sure, people have been overrun in the third world, but they're even more awake because they've been screwed so much. They understand it. But I mean, specifically, what did you do then to reverse it in your son? Well,
by traveling, I started noticing there was a common denominator about the children with autism. And it kept pointing me to food. And I said, what is in the food? And I found out it was these biopesticides.
Oh, it's what the White House Censors said?
Yeah, actually, I was amazed that in 1991, when I was pregnant, 2001, when I was pregnant with my son, I was eating Taco Bell. I didn't know better. And,
Taco Bell loves you.
And what happened is Monsanto at that time, they sold a Starlink corn that it was not for human consumption.
They even admit that hurts you. But what's wrong with that?
Well, it wasn't Taco Bell.
What's wrong with Starlink?
So,
I mean, it kills farm animals. Why not eat it? Starlink admittedly kills people. Why not die?
Well, you guess what they did? I can show you papers that instead of destroying, they gave it to the World Health Organization, and they went and they gave it to poor countries.
Well, they want to help Africa.
Help the poor people.
Help Africa, yeah.
They gave it to Costa Rica, but Costa Rica has such an educated population. They actually studied.
Send it to Africa.
They actually destroyed it.
Yeah, the Japanese are destroying it too.
And they sue back United States for sending poison to the.
Sure. Well, Starlink itself, she's not just saying that. Starlink, they admitted was even killing farm animals.
Yeah. So that's what.
But again, what's wrong with dying? I mean, Bill Gates.
We're the crazy.
There's too many of us. What's wrong with? Just die. Bill Gates is better than you.
No, and another thing is the mainstream media is saying we don't know what causes autism. We don't know. But it's environmental. Okay, it's environmental. Hello. Biopesticides is environmental.
Hey, hello, the U.S. leads the world in every type of cancer, brain damage, lowering IQs, obesity, diabetes.
Exactly.
And then in the rats, GMO does that to them. And wow, 2 + 2 = 4.
Exactly.
No wonder Scamberg doesn't want your info out. Because let me tell you, Scamberg, he isn't eating any GMO.
No. In the White House, they are eating organic food. I mean, people can Google these articles,
What's wrong, though? I mean, don't we want a 3,000? Where are you originally from?
From Ecuador.
Why doesn't Ecuador want a 3,000% increase in breast cancer? Isn't that fun?
Yeah, I mean, over there, actually the new constitution, the new president put in the constitution, no GMOs allowed in the country. In the constitution.
And then Monsanto always gets caught sneaking them in.
Yes,
because they want to infect everything because they're nice people.
They're trying really hard. So it's pretty sad because people are aware, and I believe, you see, I like to have a little bit more faith in Americans. I've seen people rallying with us. I mean, the rally was at least 500 to 1,000 people where I was.
And they had like 400 plus rallies.
And it was no coverage. It was no support from the mainstream media. So
because they're all told not to. Let me tell you something. But here's how much it changed. He died last year. Great guy, Derry Brownfield, icon in broadcasting, 400 and something affiliates. He would criticize Monsanto, even though he's a major landowner, rich guy, sold Learfield Communications for a ton of money. He was doing that radio show because he wanted to. He was a rich guy. You know, made his own money as a rancher up in Missouri. More Texan than a Texan. He's a great guy. And he had a partner in his company, and a lot of this is off record, but he's been dead now for a year, and I'm just going to say this. I mean, part of it came out. They were told, listen, you can keep your 400 affiliates, you can keep all this money you're making, stop talking about Monsanto, just mildly. And he said, I'm not, sold off his piece, started his own deal to tell the truth, and didn't even make a big deal out of it. But that's what the kind of stuff Monsanto does. Now, 5 years ago, they did that. The issue is that now everybody's speaking out against them. They used to really try to stop people. They can't stop everybody. And let me tell you, these reporters that follow orders not to cover it, you're going to have your kid in a year or two, and when they're brain damaged, you're going to get them off GMO, you're going to become a listener, you're going to know we told you the truth, or maybe you won't fully reverse it. I'm sad. You won't fully reverse it from the, you know, taking the shots and everything and the GMO, but you'll reverse part of it, and you'll see me on the street and cry. This happens all the time, and say, "Oh, I got fired after I tried to report, but at least my child can now talk." And you'll grab me and start crying on the side of the street. See, I wish you'd listen before you cry, because let me tell you, this is all real. Go ahead.
Exactly. I mean, I'm tired of hearing the parents over these past 10 years. Let's create autism awareness, autism awareness. I'm like, we need to create awareness how to prevent autism.
Same deal. It's always find a cure for breast cancer, cut your breast off, not why is it exploding?
Doesn't make any sense. I mean, what's wrong with people?
It's like I went, and everywhere I go, we have to give money for prostate cancer or breast cancer. I'm like, well, actually, I actually do give money to groups that are, you know, exposing the GMO. But I mean, it's incredible. The groups all make money off killing the women.
No, and every time that there is these epidemic diseases like autism, instead of making groups, big foundations and making awareness of how to prevent that happen, why they keep doing like let's make cancer awareness, autism awareness, diabetes awareness? I mean, what's up with the awareness of making people know that people are sick? The awareness should be how to prevent. Let's make awareness.
How dare you reverse this with your sons? How dare you go around the world trying to warn people? How dare you? You should be out of you know, you're a nice looking lady. You should be out of a swimming pool posing right now and having fun and being decadent, not caring. You could probably have institutionalized your son. Hell, the Center for the Bioethics Journal says you should have just, you know, now just kill your son if he was autistic. Why don't you try to legalize post-birth abortion? You could just kill your sons, and once the government legalizes it, that would be the trendy thing to do.
Alex,
that would give Bill Gates more money and let him run things.
My neurologist.
You're an extremist. You should lobby to have, like Dr. Peter Singer is calling for, to have the government kill autistic children.
That's what they want. That's what they hope for.
Oh, no, that's the plan. They're going to be showing me that's what they're going to do. But, I mean, how dare you? We need death. Thank you, Bill Gates. Murder me, Bill. Our viewers have demanded it, so now you're gonna get it. More pro-Second Amendment gun shows in the month of June.
What we've learned is you cannot hide behind an I-beam when there's a 50 cal present.
Brothers in Arms, 50 cal ammo review, and more. Coming in the month of June to the InfoWar. My wife called up, and we do that fun banner. Everybody's laughing out there. And she goes, let that lady talk. And my wife never does that, but I do get a little bit obnoxious sometimes. But, hey, don't argue with success, folks. Now, you listen to the show. It's all right. But seriously, we're going to do some overdrive because I want you to really get into. But right now, before some stations leave us, give out your websites, Facebook, all that stuff. And talk about briefly how you reversed it. You went and studied that other countries don't have this. You found out what happened. How fast did it reverse it in your sons?
It took me at least 5 years to reach the point that my son can actually talk back to me in sentences on his own. It took me 5 years because I was applying everything I was learning as it goes. So when my second son developed autism, it was faster for me because I already knew what to do. So actually, I was able to help another mother that has triplets with autism, 3 girls with autism. And I thought it was going to be a very difficult task because the girls are 7 years old when they came to ask me how I did it and how she can do it. So I taught the mother how to do it. That's my job. That's what I do. Is I teach people because that's the only thing the law allows me to do. I can share my information legally. So I taught her how to do it, and she did it, and that was amazing. And she was able to reverse the autism in 2 of her triplets in like a year and a half, and they were substantially recovered so they can go back to school and attend regular setting. And the third one, it had a slower pace, and then but she continued to recover. You see, the recovery rate on each kid is different. You can, because it depends of how much damage has been caused by the biopesticides, how many epigenetic changes those children have. You see, autism, it's an intracellular damage. And it's not impossible to reverse that, but it takes a lot of effort.
And we shouldn't have to go through all the trouble to avoid this. It should be illegal everywhere. We're not crossing some plants or something. They're growing pesticide in them.
Well, Alex, if you're Christian, like many people are, and you understand that God wrote in the Bible that he doesn't want us to destroy his creation.
Don't mix the seed.
Don't mix the seed. It's written in the Bible. I think this is the original sin. Is the worst possible thing the humans can do is crossing a species. This is a natural laws that God established. We should respect this. Okay, stop of offending God. Stop is enough.
But Monsanto thinks it's God, and look at the abominations it's building.
Well, let's be fair. And it's not just Monsanto, it's Syngenta, it's DuPont, it's Down. I mean, I know I promised my husband not to mention names, but we gotta talk. I mean, this is enough. Our kids are being killed. I don't see the difference from having a child with a profoundly autistic and a child that you lose, that it dies.
Well, I mean, the studies are there that with a lot of these GMOs, it's hurting the rodents. And then we know our numbers are exploding. It's vaccines, it's a lot of stuff. And absolutely, it's time to go all the way against these people. And if they want to fight, they're going to get one. Because they are assaulting us. They gave us Agent Orange. What is their next? They're going to tell us that's good? Many anthropologists and archaeologists believe that before man even discovered the power to harness and use fire, we were involved in agrarian activities. That is, taking the seeds of plants and then replanting them to produce more. The very foundation of our modern civilization and human culture is centered around the planting and cultivation of edible plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts, you name it. And the globalists have been going after gardening. They've been harassing people that have gardens in their front yards or their backyards. They've called for licenses for people to have gardens because you can't trust prisoners in the police state America to be able to grow their own food. That's why I've come to the realization that we need to become self-sufficient. You need to be informed. You need to have the Second Amendment to protect yourself. You need to be politically active to wake up others. You need to filter your water. But you also need to plant a garden. Even if you live in an apartment, you can do this. If you live in the countryside, obviously you can do it on a grand scale. There are so many green belts in areas that humans don't even visit, nearby cities and in suburbs, where people are now more and more planting their own little private gardens and meadows and off the side of the road. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a revolutionary act to unplug from the television, to unplug from the computer and all the globalist propaganda, and to go out in your backyard or your front yard or planters at your apartment or on the roof of the building where you live and to plant a garden.
Here are some of the amazing deals at InfoWars Seed Center at InfoWarsShop.com. The Survival Seed Vault by My Patriot Supply features only the finest survival heirloom seeds for a robust and hardy garden, even in the toughest of times. The ARC All-in-One Seed Kit contains 70 varieties of 50,000 seeds of fruits, vegetables, medicinal, and culinary herbs. All ARC seeds are heirloom. Each type is labeled and sealed separately for ease of use and longevity. The Deluxe Emergency Seed Bank combines 3 of Emergency Seed Bank's top sellers: the Family Survival Emergency Seed Bank, the Medicinal Herb Seeds Pack, and the Culinary Herb Seeds Pack. We also have starter varieties of the deluxe seed packages for fruit, salad, salsa, peppers, and medicinal herbs and more. Go to the InfoWars Seed Center at InfoWarsShop.com.
A little seed can grow a huge tree that produces fruit for up to 50 years. We have the best life bombs. That's what these are. We have the best weapons against death out there at the lowest prices, waiting for you to lovingly plant them and lovingly grow them and lovingly eat them and share them with others. We will strike back against the New World Order, and this is only one more initiative in our fight against them. So please join us at InfoWarsShop.com, or you can link through at Infowars.com at the InfoWars Seed Center. Coming up the next segment, I'd forgotten she's the lady that went and got tests done, the epigenetics. Monsanto came in with threats. I mean, this is just amazing. And like she said, you know, Monsanto's not the only group. It is, Monsanto is just now kind of like saying search engines or Google. It's kind of the term you use just to describe genetic engineering. But getting more into traveling around the world, what will people find on your website, holisticapproachforautism.com?
Well, in the website, I describe my experience with my children, how they develop autism, how they recovered. I also put a lot of my hypotheses, a lot of my research is there. People can find out how I discovered to help my son with natural herbs and extracts and things that truly work, and it won't harm the children. Because when my son got diagnosed, the first thing I was offered by my neurologist was Ritalin, Concerta, I mean, and you name it, just pharmaceutical drugs to dope my son because they... That
makes the brain shrink, the heart expand.
Exactly.
Lowers IQ. What's wrong with that?
I asked them, I said, is this stuff going to cure him? And they said, no, but he's going to be manageable. I'm like, I don't want to manage him. I want to cure him. He wasn't born that way. I have footage, video that can prove it to you that my son was developing normally until he got these 5 shots at once that trigger his autism. Because you see, once you have epigenetic changes by this poison, by these pesticides in your food, then all you need it's these triggers like vaccines that are more poison that your body can't defend from it anymore. You can create antibodies, you can detoxify from the mercury, all these pathways that we have inside are broken. And that's why our kids are developing autism. And that is being proven with genetic testing. So I was trying to prove this at that time hypothesis based on research, of course, but hypothesis because I have not been able to take my son to a lab and getting tested and prove the world and say, hey, here it is. You see, I show you. So what happened is I contact 3 different laboratories and I tried to do that. Trust me, I fought so hard to prove people that our kids are being hurt by this.
But they'd already been called. You don't test these kids.
Exactly.
Because we love you.
Exactly. I mean,
we're going to tell the story when we come back from break, but like give people a kind of an idea of what happened.
They are freaked out. That's basically the point. I mean, laboratories are intimidated, but who knows who, that we cannot even test our children's stools or blood to find if they have Bt toxin or pesticides in their system.
Because that's patented, just like the breast cancer gene.
Exactly. So you cannot touch it. You cannot investigate this stuff.
But that's bull. I mean, they can say
the poison.
Well, it was kind of like their crops infect other crops. You prove you bought your seeds, they infected you, but the court rules against you. Now you want to show that it's in your child's bloodstream. you know, these chemicals and things, and they say that's our chemical, you can't test for it. I mean, that's
Exactly.
a total violation of common law. That's pure bull.
Exactly.
Like if somebody patented cyanide and then you were poisoned with it, you can't test for cyanide now.
And when you go to other foreign countries to do these tests, like I was thinking to do, then it's completely denied here in the United States. You know, as soon as if I do something like that, they will start discrediting because it's not officially made in.
But tell people what the one test you did get done did. I can't mention the name of the group when we come back. But ladies and gentlemen, the system is. I sit up here and joke about this because it actually hurts me. So it's gallows humor. There's no doubt we're under a plague. There's no doubt we've had 53 million abortions. There's no doubt we've gone from 1 in 25,000 with autism to 1 in 50-something. There's no doubt cancer rates are all exploding. There's no doubt diabetes is exploding. There's no doubt that whatever's going on, whether it's on purpose or not, is hurting us. And we know it's on purpose. The globalists are eugenicists. They're obsessed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Andrea Lalama, a mother who heads up Holistic Approach for Autism.com. You know, she's one of the, I'd say, top 10 people out there, mothers, really leading the fight, exposing that there's hydrofluorosilicic acid in the water. There's GMO in the food that grows its own pesticides. Now, there's major studies that have come out just recently saying it is epigenetic. It is getting into the DNA. It is leaking out of the gut. No kidding. I mean, I saw an article in the Washington Post last year. I covered probably 5 times on air. It had a headline where farmers are violating GMO planting rules and not planting a refuge for the bees and insects so that they'll have something to eat and not all die. I mean, they spray sodium fluoride on the crops to kill the bugs. It bioaccumulates, so it's a cocktail. So the vaccines go over the top, and then you add all this other stuff into it. It is a cocktail, and they know this is going on. The globalist, they avoid it. Let's turn her mic on. So in this segment, I'm going to give you the floor. Break down what you discovered, the mercury, how it all ties together, what's going on, the labs you went to get it tested, and what Monsanto did. Break it down.
Well, basically, our Almighty helped me by letting me see the bees dying in my backyard. Suddenly, I had hundreds and hundreds of bees coming and dying in my backyard. And I was like, what is going on? So I started researching about the bees, and I discovered they have this neurotransmitter called octopamine. And I thought, what if the humans also have this octopamine, and our children has it, and they are being affected by this? So I contacted a couple of scientists, friends of mine, and they said, you know, Andrea, I never heard about it. I never knew about it. And I tried. I went to UCLA Medical Center.
They're just trying to put it on screen, and I was trying to get them to shrink it.
There it is. People can go to, they can just type reversing autism, one word altogether, and it will send them to my page, which is Holistic Approach for Autism.
Keep going, keep going.
And they can read there that octopamine is a neurotransmitter that is actually the main neurotransmitter the bees use for communication. The bees weren't dying. The CCD, the colony collapse disorder, basically is that the bees go foraging and they never come back home. And that's how I see autism. Our kids...
And I was reading, you developed this theory even before the German university did, and they've now found in several studies that indeed certain types of BT corn are directly linked to the bees just not knowing where they are. And just,
exactly. The bees don't... It's autism. I'm sorry, but the bees are getting autistic.
No, sure.
It's the same pattern. So that's why I believe God was in my side, because when I started studying the bees, I kept an open mind. I was not trying to make my hypothesis to fit and find something to corroborate what I was thinking. I totally went with a brain totally blank and not thinking about what I'm going to find, just research. And I find out that the biopesticides needed to fool the bees to eat the biopesticides, because the bees are so smart that a few got sick, they went back to the colony and says, don't go there, that field is full of poison. But also...
They're smarter than us.
Absolutely. And what happened is not just the bees were doing that, but other...
farm animals won't eat GMO.
Other insects were doing the same thing. So what these corporations that are doing biopesticides are doing is they create these mercury fungicides and mercury pesticides to make them kind of like drunk. So when the insects fly to the field, they get first drunk and then they get the biopesticide. So
that's what the fluoride does to us. Makes us drunk, and then they kill us so we don't notice. Very loving. No, they're killing us the same way. Yeah.
Horrible. I mean,
very loving.
The correlation of what they are doing to the insects to what they are doing to our children, it's horrible. It's exactly the same thing. So what happened is that once the bees get all this mercury and they get intoxicated by acetylene as one of the ones they use, they can read the whole in detail with the chemical names and what I found it and with references and everything. And then they lose this octopamine, which is the main neurotransmitter for communication. So when they come back to their home, their few that they make it, they can't communicate to the other bees that something is happening.
Just like YouTube now breaks us into subgroups so we can't communicate.
Well, like
it's dumb us down, lock us down, starts hardcore soft killing, don't let us communicate. Yeah.
You see, when you have a normal child like me, Alex, and you see this child out of the blue start losing its words, the words that he was speaking before, you know what it is for me not to hear my son calling me mom ever again? He couldn't even say mom.
Wow.
Okay? He lost it. He lost it. He couldn't ask for food. He was starving, and he couldn't say, I'm hungry. And then when...
Well, Andrea, there's too many people. We got to do something.
That's what I'm here. That's why I'm here for. And I really appreciate you supporting us.
But I'm playing the part of Bill Gates. There's too many people. You know, we've got to get rid of your children. And my answer is, how about he gets... Yeah. Well, how about Bill Gates gets off the planet?
Exactly, die. You know, with all the money he has, he can make his own little rocket and send himself to living Mars.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah. Like the Phantom Zone,
exactly.
General Zod. Okay, keep going.
All these elites should do that. Just go with the elites.
I think they're actually planning that.
Then leave.
Elysium,
leave us alone. This world would be so much happier if they just take a rocket and go to the freaking moon. I bet you the moon is going to spit them out. I mean,
well, the real proof is they've all written books bragging they would do this 30, 40 years ago. Now they're doing it. They're here, and everywhere they're in control, this is happening. Where they're not in control, it's not happening.
Well,
I mean, Amish who won't do this, no autism. People eating the GMO, taking the shots, total autism.
Exactly. So
well, keep going with what you found. Tell us about the people you try to get tested.
Well, what happened is after I find out all these answers for my child, I start putting on the internet. I create this Yahoo group, health group, reversing autism. And the mothers there says, oh, please, Andrea, what do we do? And I start sharing, and it says, listen, we need to prove that our kids has this. Help me out. There's a lab that is willing to test our kids. So I said, all right. We wait for them to call us back. 2 weeks went by. They didn't call me back. So I put the mothers, come on, moms, you rock. Help me here. Call. This is the number. Fill the answer machine. Make them call us back and explain to us why they are not testing our kids. Like they agreed to do it. So the mothers rock. You see, mothers with autistic kids will do anything.
They're battling back against the General Zod. So what happened next?
Well, the laboratory called me back, and off the record, that's why I'm not mentioning their name. Off the record, they say, Andrea, Monsanto said that this belongs to them, is their patents. We cannot test your son for these proteins in himself. We could get in a legal bottle.
So they put it in the food. They know, in studies, people have done the test now. People have done the studies.
Well,
it's leaking out, and they say, you can't test for our poison in your child.
Exactly.
What a load of bull.
They poison you, and you cannot test to prove that the poison is in you. How's that? So you can...
Because they said so.
Exactly. And this was before even they passed this law that now they are protected from any sue. This was before that. I'm talking
just like the vaccine makers said, we'll carry out this operation, but give us liability protection.
Yeah, imagine. I'm chasing them since 2006. And I don't want money, and I don't want nothing. I just want them to stop hurting other children.
But there's too many people, Andrea.
Yes, I mean...
They're trying to help us.
Absolutely. I'm doing for my kids. I promise them to pay whoever caused this to them, and I will until to the teeth. I mean...
Wow, you mean you're going to defend yourself? That sounds even more extreme.
Oh, they have no idea when...
2 words, roll over. Give in to them. Henry Kissinger said use food as a weapon, destabilize countries, murder people en masse. What's wrong with that? Henry Kissinger is a beautiful person. But he deserves to live. You and your family don't. You want to thank him for all he's done?
Let me tell you, he's an ugly man. I mean, he doesn't need to be replicated. Please don't. Man.
You know, we call him a super mass murderer, potato head. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty ugly. And So if something try to replicate beautiful people, not just outside but inside, and he's ugly both ways, inside out. So
this time the cover does match the book.
well, we need to start as a community, and the reason I'm here for today is I beg these mothers that are listening to me right now doing this interview to get united. Stop with the baloney and get united, and let's stop consuming GMOs. We could totally destroy them.
Oh, yeah. Monsanto last week was saying, be nice, stop, back off. No, like, you know, like the HAL 9000 when they're turning it off. If we just don't buy their stuff, it's over. We vote with our dollars.
Exactly.
That's why they want to bankrupt everybody, so that everybody's so poor they can only get the stuff they'll basically give you for free.
Well, they do give you for free, you know. It's insane, but certain groups that, like I told you, the World Health Organization got the Starlink instead of destroying it when I gave it to the poor people in Central America.
Well, the World Health Organization's been caught in India and Africa and in South America going and adding a sterilant to the vaccines. This is on record.
Yeah, and it's more ugly that movie stars in Hollywood are supporting these.
I had our pediatrician who owned one of, he's now retired, he owned the biggest pediatrician clinic in Austin, and they would not do vaccines if you wanted, but they did vaccines as well. And he called me aside. I won't say his name. And he said, "Let me tell you something. You know, we're supposed to continue education. You know, do some charity stuff at the East Austin clinics." And he goes, "I refused to do it," but he goes, "They were giving them 1960s liquid." You know, the batch numbers with SV40 cancer.
Wow.
To the East Austin kids. I said, "You got to go public." And he goes, "You're a journalist." He grabbed him by the arm and he goes, "I just told you that off record. You can say you were told that by a doctor in Austin, but you don't say that." The guy had my arm. It's like a well-known doctor. There's probably 1,000 people listening. The kids went to him. And I said, "Well, you got to tell people." And he said, "Nope. Just like doctor privilege, your journalist privilege, you do not repeat that. You know, that came from me."
That's the same thing that all these years I've been dealing with, Alex.
They give the kids in East Austin cancer.
Yes.
SV40 will give you cancer.
I don't know what the American people are waiting for. I mean, at this point, they are destroying our children. What else you want them to take away from you? I wouldn't even care if they would have told me, "Give me your house, give me..."
Exactly. Why are we scared of Monsanto? Come after me. Whatever. I'm not going to be part of this. SV40 that then binds into your DNA and kills you 20 years later, and they're there giving them the kids. Here's your SV40. Bye-bye, Bluebird. We'll be right back. Here's an article that was in the Prairie Advocate News. They posted a blurb of it up on planetinfowars.com. This happened 2 days ago. Bees resistant to Monsanto Roundup illegally seized by the Illinois Ag Department. Now, they claim Roundup's not even meant to kill bees, but of course it does, because people want them pollinating. But somebody goes, "Wow, these bees aren't dying," because, you know, insects will become resistant and immune. Oh my gosh, they seized them, saying it's the property of Monsanto. So I guess it'd be like if they patented lead and I shot you in the head, instead of me getting arrested, they arrest the corpse and say, because it has lead in it. And so, oh my God, don't want people to find out what's happening here. You're not going to be able to stop all the bees from coming, you know, stopping you. They're going to become resistant, just like humans are. And but you're talking about what happened to the German scientists and others. They do not want you looking at what they're doing to you. I mean, why are the courts doing this? Because they own them.
Well, it's horrible. It's a totally conspiration against humanity, because it was this Dr. Cass, this German scientist, who was actually conducting and dissecting the bees' intestines, and it was all over the internet. When I got this information, luckily I saved it and I printed and I saved it on my hard drives. Now you can't find it anymore
because Monsanto owns the bee guts.
Internet.
They own the bee guts.
And he actually proved that these bees were dying because they had a lot of undigested proteins from these BT crops, and it was causing leaky gut to the bees.
Just like we're seeing incredible intestinal disorders skyrocket.
Exactly.
And Monsanto's now bought leading bee research firm after being implicated in bee colony collapse.
Exactly.
Oh, but there's nothing going on.
No.
And again, you look at Monsanto, their famous eugenics operation, and just everything else you can imagine.
And people refute me and said, "Oh no, you cannot blame GMOs because they were introduced in 1996 for human consumption. Autism has been there since 1942." I'm like,
it's been skyrocketing.
Excuse me, do a better research, okay? Don't defeat me on something that I became an expert on because of my son. Biopesticides has been on our field since 1929, and I can prove it to you. It's in my website, the reference on the book that I actually photocopied before they probably disappeared the book from the
Library.
public library in LA.
Books don't exist. That's a conspiracy. In closing, you were pointing out, though, it's all sorts of other health problems. It's not just the autism.
Exactly. So people that are listening to this interview and they think, oh, boring, it's not my son doesn't have autism, so I shouldn't listen to this. Then listen, and then look at your kids again and why they have so many allergies to food. Maybe, haven't you asked that maybe the answer is in the food, not in your child?
Why are people more and more allergic to everything?
Exactly. And why they keep saying, oh, your kid is allergic, take Allegra or whatever. No, throw away that food and give the food.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're allergic, turn off your immune system.
No.
And then you turn your immune system off, you get cancer.
No, they say, if you are allergic, it's because of you.
Oh, no, now they're saying
genes.
women are all getting breast cancer because they have bad genes. Your grandmother had the same genes and didn't get breast cancer.
Exactly. But
yes, you have the genes that when they put pesticides in your food, you die.
All these diseases that our children are having, they are turning it around and blaming on the parents.
Oh, I've had all the scientists on. What happens to guinea pigs, rats, and pigs in double-blind studies given these cross-species, BT type, the whole spectrum, is the same thing happening to humans. The difference is they have a generation every year or so. We have it every 20. By the third or fourth generation, they're almost all sterile, dead, deformed.
Exactly.
My God, how are they going to cover this up in another 20 years, though, when like a genius can walk, a genius can talk?
Listen, another thing that it really bothers me is that these mainstream media and the people that support these companies keep saying the population, we have scientific studies. I mean, are the population an idiot?
Let's just say study, fluoride's good for you.
If somebody with a white coat tells you something, that is suddenly the truth.
Every year they say there are no side effects from vaccines, and then you read the insert and says it can kill you.
Yeah,
they're lying.
What Mothers with Autistic Kids have done is go to the books. Grab a damn book. I mean, you can do it.
They've got mad scientists that are eugenicists that founded all these companies that are designing Trojan horse weapon systems. Do you have any doubt this is on purpose?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You think it's on purpose?
Oh yeah, I have this. I trace it to who invented this BT toxin all the way to the Nazis in Germany. They were getting prepared for the. They were getting prepared for the war, and they started with a chemical war.
No, that's right. They said they're going to take over and then feed people poison food so they wouldn't know who was killing them. Because people will resist if you line them up and shoot them. You're correct again.
Well, what happened is the war ended and they didn't know what to do with it. So now what they did is they sold it to America to dilute it and use it as pesticide.
Because Nazis actually came from eugenicists here.
Exactly.
So they were just coming back home.
Exactly.
All right, folks can check out your website, holisticapproachforautism.com. Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds?